Hello. Glad to see you could make it, I think. All right, let me just get you onto a proper screen here. Fantastic. Okay, good. I was just doing your introduction, Graham, okay?
Sweet.
Actually, the picture is surprisingly good, so I'm not sure what you've done. Did you bribe a Panamanian official or something for a better broadband?
I've got a chicken cock-a-doodling in the background here, so it's all quite rustic, but also quite technological. It's strange. It's a strange world that we live in.
This is a strange world indeed, yes. So, anyways, just to complete the intro, so when we last left Graham, he had recently completed his journey around the world, which took well over 4 years to complete, and there was a whole other process which I won't bore you with about convincing the Guinness Book of World Records that he actually went on this journey without use of a plane. He had to actually go back to Russia, I think it was, to complete that in a way that was legal. Had to produce 4 years worth of receipts and for taxis and other such things. It was a bit of a nightmare. But in the end, the world record was documented. Right, Graham. I realize that we're not going to be able to hold you back any further here. So, why don't we pick up the story from there? So, because I mean, of course, I'm desperate to hear more about where you are. Now, can you hear me? Okay.
Can I go on?
Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
All right. Cool. Sorry. Hey.
Well, I'm actually here on an island in Panama at the moment. We'll come to that part of the story soon. But what I want to talk about is about what happened after the Odyssey expedition. Because obviously I've done a few TED Talks now talking about the actual Odyssey expedition itself. And I want to just talk about what it was like to finish something like that and what sort of happened afterwards. So on the 26th of November 2012, I got into South Sudan, which was my 201st country, the Odyssey expedition. I thought, that's it. Been to every country in the world without flying, no problemo. And I just set off home. Before I went home, I sent an email off to Guinness World Records saying, hey guys, right, I've been to every country in the world. Here's all the evidence. What do you think? And in January, about the second week in January, I got an email off them saying, you went into Russia illegally and therefore we're not going to accept your record. And I was just like, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. There's a record for eating Jaffa cakes in a minute and you're not going to give me this record that took me 4 years to do. Please, come on. So I spoke to them and I said, look, the only country that I went to across an illegal border, so to speak, was Russia. And I said, so if I go back to Russia, and because I overlanded it back from South Sudan to the UK, would it be okay to continue the journey and say, you know, that's ticked off the list? And they said, yeah, that'd be fine. So at the end of January 2013, I got on the bus, the Eurolines bus to Gdansk in Poland, and I went to Kaliningrad, the exclave of Russia. That's just sandwiched between Poland and Lithuania there. So I got back and went, right, here's all my evidence, take it away. And they said, we need more evidence. I said, okay, here's some more evidence. And this went back and forth for months, literally for months. And I remember going to see Guinness World Records in the summer of 2013, and they said, look, you've got to bring all your receipts with you. It's no good giving us scanned copies. You want to see the actual things. I'm like, okay. So I turned up with a big binder full of just bits of scraps of paper from all over the world, scribbles on them saying I'd gone from, you know, Nairobi to the border or somewhere, and left it with them. And also at the same time, you've got to understand, no one else has been to every country in the world yet without flying. And so it was a bit of a novel thing that I didn't really have an opportunity much to share the experience with other people. Obviously, I wrote a blog and I made videos and all this kind of stuff, but it's a very strange experience coming home after doing something like that and then just going, okay, what next? And I think for the first sort of 6 months that I was home, I was not very proactive. I was very reactive. I was people were asking me to do talks, TED sort of thing. People were asking me to come on talk about my travels, and I kind of assumed erroneously that you know, someone would come along and say, hey, Ryan, you're a very good-looking Scouser who's been to every country in the world without flying. Why not? make a TV series for us or something like that. Here's a book deal. And that didn't happen. And a few of the others that I had, that's the expedition. They kind of fizzled out. So after about 6 months, I was back at my parents' place, middle of a debt, luckily to my parents and not to the banks. And I was thinking, bloody hell, I'm 35 years old, and I've been to every country in the world. Why the heck am I going to couch? What's going on with the world? So I thought, I'm obviously just not charming and charismatic enough. But, you see, the thing is, when you look back over what's happened in your life, it's easier to connect the dots, but when you're looking forward, it's just a fog. You don't know what's going to happen. And I'm one of these people who just throws as much stuff at the wall as I possibly can and hope that some of it sticks. And it's a strange path that led me to Ginger Island, and that's the experience I'm going to take you on now. So, first of all, in December of 2012, just after I finished the Odyssey expedition, I got an email from one of the guys who organised TEDxLiverpool over in California, which is a sister conference to the main TED event. It's still very expensive for a ticket. They wanted me to come and talk about my travels. So on the February 28th last year, my birthday actually, me and my girlfriend headed over to the States, and I spoke at this TED conference. And while I was at the TED conference, I met a girl called Stephanie Busavi, who is the organizer of TEDx Brixton. And she invited me to come and talk at TEDx Brixton, which of course I said yes to, because you don't say no to a TED talk. Obviously, I'm doing this now. And so I went to this the TEDx Brixton event, and I did my talk. And usually during these things, you have to show a few videos from other TED Talks. And one of them was by a guy called Cesar Koyama, who did a great little thing a few years ago called 1 Second Every Day. And he's actually turned it into an app now, and it was featured in the movie Chef with John Favreau and Scarlett Johansson. That's pretty cool. And I saw this video, and it was 1 second of his life every day for a year. And it was, 3-4 minute video. I thought, this is fantastic. I could do this. I could do this for every country, because every country I went to when I was traveling, I filmed myself with the camera at arm's length saying, my name is Graham Hughes, and I am in Panama or Djibouti or Papua New Guinea or whatever. And so I got all my footage together, all 375 hours of it, and went through it all painstakingly and cut out these little bits of me saying the name of the country, and I stuck it on YouTube, and it went viral. And like, people say, why do you make viral videos? It's not that easy, It's kind of like catching lightning in a bucket or something. Is that the right expression? I don't know. Anyway, it's difficult, but it did go viral. I had over 1 million views on this video. And one of the things that happens when your video gets more views is you get better quality adverts. So it goes from, Tim's discount tattoo emporium down the road to, Samsung and Sony and Apple and things, and adverts as a precursor to your video. So I clicked on an advert for Samsung because they have these great little mobile phones that are like half a camera, half a phone. And it reminded me of that bit out of Flight of the Conchords, where Brett makes Jerome, he says, well, I made you a camera phone, and it was like just a camera and a phone, like something together. It was funny at the time. Anyway, so I clicked on it, and it said, this is a competition, and you get to go to Puerto Rico and train to be a survivalist with Les Shroud, who does Survivor Man. He's kind of like the Canadian Bear Grylls or Ray Mears. And I thought, that sounds fantastic. So I typed my name in, Graham Hughes, my address, and age, and everything. And then a big box, and it said, tell us why you should be a contestant on Samsung's SOS Island Challenge. And I, rather arrogantly wrote, Google me. I obviously got picked up to be on the show. And we were 16 contestants, 6 Puerto Rico. We had a boot camp. And then after a week, we got taken over, 8 of us, the finalists got taken over to this island. We had to do these tasks, building a shelter, starting a fire, getting into a coconut, all that kind of thing. And at the end of it, it came down to a public vote. And again, this is where me traveling around the world to every country came in handy, because it was a public vote. You could vote every day, and you could maximize your voting potential by playing a little video game on the website. Luckily, I have loads of mates from around the world, real friends, not Facebook friends or Twitter friends who I don't really know in real life. These are people I've stayed with, couch surfed with, had a beer with, and they were prepared to put in the extra effort to vote for me every day for 6 weeks and play the video game. And so I won. I won by about 1%, and it was a bit of a tortoise in the hare sort of thing because all the contestants had a bigger social media following than I did. I won. And I got taken over to California in December last year, and given a trophy, which was one of these Samsung mobile phones in a bottle, which is quite cool. I can take it on my desert island. And then the production company put me in touch with an island broker who was from Canada, and his name was Chris Crollo. And he said, look, the prize is a desert island, right? Or an island adventure. What do you want to do? And I thought, well, I could go to all the islands I didn't go to on the Odyssey expedition. But then a sort of nagging sort of thing on my head sort of said, oh, Graham, give the travel thing a rest for a year or so. Just stay where you are, write your book, make some money. So I thought, okay, well, is there an island that I could just get for this prize? Out of the money? He said, well, yeah, there's a guy selling his island in Panama, Bocas del Toro. And you might have heard of him. His name is Ian Usher. He's done some TED Talks. He's the guy who sold his life on eBay. He's a fellow crazy northerner. He did 100 goals in 100 weeks, where he went around the world seeing the red crabs of Christmas Island and meeting Richard Branson and all this kind of stuff. And Disney bought the rights to his life, which is amazing. I'm slightly jealous of that. And anyway, so I got in touch with him. And he didn't really want to sell to me. He didn't really want to sell the island, but he was looking to go away to America to do sort of inspirational speaking over there. And but again, doing the Odyssey expedition put me in good stead because he thought, well, actually, this is an interesting guy, and if he's going to be looking after the island, at least it will stay interesting, I guess. And so he agreed, and I came over here in March. We signed all the papers over. In April, I went on the route of Maya with my girlfriend. I went around the Mayan site of Central America. Came back here on May the 1st, and I took over the island proper. So it's a 2.2-acre island here in Panama. I've got a coral reef out that way. I've got a mangrove forest out that way. I'm on the entrance to Dolphin Bay, and it's not called Dolphin Bay because it's full of jellyfish. It's got dolphins in it. It's amazing. And it's quite spectacular. I'm going to take you upstairs now just to show you a little bit of the island. Obviously, you can see it behind me. It's raining today because it's actually rainy season, July and August. But this is my home now. It's got all mod cons. It's got a microwave and a fridge, freezer, and television and internet, obviously, because I'm talking to you. Don't have steps, though. Steps would be nice. Got a ladder. And this is the spare bedroom. And this is the island out here. This is Ginger Island out here, you can see. It's very nice. So just bring it back to me for a sec. I'll show you a little bit more in a moment. But so this is what I wanted to talk about today. It was literally connecting the dots, how finishing the Odyssey expedition ended up with me being on this island in Panama, which is now my home. I have 12 chickens here, I have a dog, and I have all this space to use up. But I've got a lot of karma to atone for because when I traveled around the world, I couch surfed everywhere. I couch surfed with over 100 people in 100 different countries. And that means that I've got 100 people that I've got to bring to this island in order to atone for my, make things balanced in the universe and all that sort of thing, to align my chi, let's just say. So over the last couple of months, I've had a lot of visitors. I've had Michael Graziano, who's attempting to do what he calls his global degree, which is to go to every country in the world. He'll be doing it flying, but he hopes to do it before he's 30, and he came to Ginger Island. And I also had a guy called Thorbjorn C. Peterson, you're not going to forget that name, who came over last week, and he's attempting, like me, to go to every country in the world without flying, except he's going to try and do it faster than 4 years and 1 month, which he probably will, because he's being sponsored by an oil company. Anyway. Where I went wrong. Anyway, so my time's up. Happy to show you my island. I'm just going to leave you with a shot of me and Tor that I've sent over, standing on the helicopter pad out here. But if any of you want to come and visit, I'm not hard to find on the internet or on couchsurfing. I'm 20 minutes from the nearest airport on my little speedboat. I can pick you up and you can stay for a few days if you like. So just get in touch with me. I'm quite affable, and I promise that I won't set my coconut army onto you. Okay, so thanks, Herb.
Cheers.
Thanks to everybody. Again.
Thank you, Graham. We're going to say goodbye. We have some other speakers here, I should say.
Hey, I kept within my time limit.
No, you did well. Cheers, sir. Great video as well.
Cheers.
All right, see ya. I'm going to hang up now, okay?